The old line about Walter Johnson's Washington Senators was first in war, first in peace, last in the American League. However, the team named for him currently sits atop the Cal Ripken circuit, but that status is under threat today against the Silver Spring-Takoma Thunderbolts. A meaningful twin bill here at Shirley Povich Field will open the month of July in the Cal Ripken League and can either cement the Big Train as the class of the North or throw the division back into turmoil. It's a beautiful day for baseball. Alongside Eliav Brooks-Ruben, I'm Jackson Corcoran, and Eliav, an exciting pair of games today.
Yeah, the Big Train are on a 3-game win streak. They will take on a T-Bolts team that has limited their potent offense thus far this season. The Big Train scoring a well over 10 runs a game. The team OPS around 900. But against their T-Bolts in 3 games, of which the Big Train have won 2, their team OPS sits at just 640. So despite the dangerous lineup 1 through 9 that the Big Train will trot out, probably some challenge to score.
The Big Train are the quote-unquote road team in Game 1. This is a makeup of a rained-out game that was supposed to be at Blair Stadium last week. So, the men in green hitting first. We'll start it off. We'll take a quick look at the lineups to get this one started. First pitch is in there for a strike. We'll take a quick look at the lineups.
We'll come back to that.
We'll come back to the lineups. Peltier leading things off. He takes strike 1 and chops it over to shortstop, where Josh Erd feels at his belt and delivers a throw in time. Holding on to the bag is Brady Grimes. The umpire had to think about it for a second. Despite Joe McIntyre's protestations, it's out number 1.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that call. Brady Grimes was pulled off the bag. I think pretty clearly it was about 6 or 7 inches off the bag. So good call, a fortuitous call for Gabe Wheeler and his defense, but unlucky for Alex Peltier.
Brennan Wright squared briefly, pulls back. Take a look at this Big Train lineup. It's got the hottest bats all around. Brett Ott's out and left. Josh Skaronski, a 2-home-run day back in the lineup at designated hitter. Dylan Murphy, who DH'd on Monday, is serving as the catcher today.
Yeah, and you look at maybe the 2 least hot bats in this lineup. It's Brennan Wright at the plate and John Martinez, the middle infield. And the 2 of them have both reached in every game they've played. So to say they're the least hot bats is saying something for sure.
Bunt down the third base line, bobbled by Gabe Wheeler, today's Thunderbolts starter, and reaching first base safely is.
Now we'll make that 19 games in a row for Brennan Wright. Every game he's played in this season, he's been aboard.
Gabe Wheeler is the man on the mound for the Silver Spring-Takoma Thunderbolts. They have an excellent rotation that includes aces Josh Damaraki and Jake Treasure. We are unlikely to see them today. They're both on 2 or 3 days rest. And this man, Wheeler, has had a bit more struggles than those 2 this year.
Yeah, Gabe Wheeler has a 5.78 ERA. He's made 3 starts, but only 9.1 total innings pitched. So it's been a little bit difficult for him to get outs and go deep into ball games. Hitters are hitting over 300 against Wheeler, and he has walked 5 to just 2 strikeouts.
Shakes off the first pitch, then the second. Finally comes to one he likes against Peyton Steele, who went 1 for 5 on Monday. He swings and pops that one foul out of play.
Steele riding a 4-game hit streak, which is somehow his longest of the season. The batting average at .305 would reflect a guy who's getting hits more often than not, but he had failed to achieve 3 hits in a row, or 3 hits in games in a row all year until this most recent stretch.
It's a perfectly pleasant day at Shirley Povich Field, 85 degrees and partly cloudy.
Most mild weather we've had maybe all year.
Hanging slider driven into left field, but it's going to hang up in the air, and Herta is going to close the glove for out number 2.
Peyton Steele probably wants that one back. Just a pitch up in the zone in his wheelhouse, and he got a lot of it, just got a little bit under.
Emilio Gonzalez got a well-deserved break in Monday's game after playing 4 games in 2 days over the weekend, but now he's back and in the cleanup spot, Ilya.
And deserves to be there. I mean, he's the reigning Cal Ripken hitter of the week. He leads the league in slugging percentage. He's 3rd in OPS behind teammate Brett Ott and Cade Walter. He's top 3 in hits, RBIs, runs scored, extra base hits.
Swinging a fly into center field, moving over is Caleb Sturdivant, and he concludes the first inning. The big train put 1 runner on, but strand him. We'll send it to Quincy Bell, who has a recap of that wild game on Monday night. Say hey, Kide, the 6'1 left-hander from Merritt Island, Florida, taking the mound today for his 3rd start of the season. He has been incredible on the rubber this year.
At Kide, 2-0 record. He has a save before he became a starter. He has allowed just 1 earned run, and that was all the way back against these T-Bolts on June 6th, almost a month ago. Since then, he has worked 10 scoreless innings with 15 strikeouts and just 5 hits allowed.
Kide Atatui has been absolutely electric for this big train team, and he's way ahead on Josh Erd. It's 0-2.
Yeah, he and Drew Bellis pack maybe the best 1-2 punch in the Cal Ripken League on the mound outside of Domaraki and Treasure on the other side of the diamond today.
The sophomore from Rockville, Maryland, flies into short right field. There goes Peyton Steele. That's out number 1.
Yeah, quick and easy like Atatui was doing last week against the Braves. Just attack the zone early, get ahead in the count. He had 9 strikeouts in that game, just allowed 1 hit and 2 walks. And didn't pick up a strikeout, obviously, in that at-bat, but attacking early and getting in position to succeed.
Caleb Sturdivant takes strike one. He has an ignominious leaderboard spot so far this year, the most plate appearances without a hit.
Yeah, Jackson, he has 49 plate appearances without a hit. No other hitter has more than 3. Everyone who has made at least 3 plate appearances, at least 4 plate appearances this season in the Cal Ripken League has at least one base knock. Sturdivant is 0 for 33.
He plays some plus-plus defense. That's why he's still out there. But he's struck out 19 times and is 0 for 33 on the campaign. And he's in a hole to a big strikeout guy in Atatui. The 0-2. In the dirt, blocked by Murphy.
I like going back to that pitch. You got a check swing. Sturdivant looked very unsure on the previous pitch. Go right back to it, bury it in the dirt, see if you can get strike 3. If not, you still got 3 pitches to work with.
Atatui wheels and delivers. Fouled off by Sturdivant.
Dylan Murphy checking his glove. He thought there's a chance he could come up with that, but Sturdivant able to do just enough to stay alive.
Of the 6 men in the battery and on the infield, 4 of them are FAU Owls. Atatui, Murphy, Martinez, and Gonzalez. From one Owl to another, it's an off-speed pitch low.
Caleb Sturdivant, in his 2 games against the Big Train, he has reached and scored twice, both hit by pitches. He's 0 for 7 with 6 strikeouts.
Atatui, here comes the 2-2. Lazy fly into right field, straight at Peyton Steele. Busy but easy start for Steele, who puts away his 2nd out of the afternoon.
And Sturdivant's hit, it's coming soon. I mean, he's back up to the top of the lineup where he was to start the year. He got slid down to the 9 hole. Now he's back up in the 2, which to me tells me that he's been swinging the bat well in BP and, I don't know, whatever serves for practice in this rigorous Cal Ripken League schedule, and that first base knock is on its way.
Steve Thomas takes strike 1. A nifty breaking ball catches him looking, serving as the catcher today for his Thunderbolts.
Thomas, the only player to start every game between the Big Train and the T-Bolts on the T-Bolts side, and he has been pretty successful. He's got a pair of hits, a pair of walks, a pair of hit by pitches. He's been on 50% of the time he's been up.
He's a senior outfielder and catcher from Chadds Ford, Pennsylvania. Atatui delivers outside for ball 2.
Ford on the year is hitting Thomas on the year is hitting 295, then 8.73 OPS. He's got 4 extra base hits to just 6 strikeouts.
Fouled back, and by the way, in between innings, we mentioned we'd show you a Quincy Bell recap. Had some technical difficulties with that, so we will show you it between this inning break. Kide Atatui looking to make that inning break come sooner rather than later. Deuces wild, the pitch. Swinging a foul at the plate by Thomas.
Thomas just able to cue that one off. Was well out in front of the Atatui off-speed pitch, but able to keep the bat in the zone just enough to stay alive.
On the season, Thunderbolts hitting has mustered just a 145 batting average against the Big Train in their 3 games played. They've struck out 28 times in 23 innings. Atatui coils and pitches. Ground ball foul down the 3rd baseline.
Good at bat by Thomas to stay alive here.
Thomas and his Thunderbolts are a game and a half back of Bethesda. They sit at 12-7 on the year. The Big Train are 14-6. It's been a pitched battle for the North Division. Winning one or both of these games would go a long way for either team. Another 2-2. Check swing, called, strike 3. Kide Atatui picks up his 20th punch out of the year. And 1-2-3 go the T-Bolts in the bottom of the 1st. We'll send you now to Quincy Bell, who has a recap of Monday's action.
Rained out yesterday, but 2 days ago, the Big Train had an absolutely insane game against the Metro South County Braves. They trailed 9-4 after the first 3 innings, but stormed back a back and forth game all throughout. Saw the game tied at 13 going into extra innings. An insane game back and forth. Owen Stewart took off 4 innings of relief near the end to hold the Braves' red-hot offense. And then in the top of the 10th, Josh Skronsky hit this 2-run home run.
Kelly comes to the plate. Fastball driven high in the air. Deep out towards center field. You can kiss this one goodbye! Josh Skronsky, a 2-run go-ahead shot in the top of the 10th. The Big Train lead it 15-13. But the only park that's not out of is Yosemite.
James Gladden came out in the bottom of the 10th and earned his first save of the season with an electric inning featuring 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 frame.
2-2 offering. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Gladden slams the door for his first save, and the Big Train win this one 15-13. A wild one in South County goes the way of the back-to-back champs.
The Big Train now sit at 14-6 halfway through the 2025 season. They have a 1.5 game lead over the Silver Spring-Takoma Thunderbolts, and we send you back to the action from Shirley Povich Field.
Righty from Bel Air, Florida, returns to the mound for his second inning of work, Gabe Wheeler. He's facing Matt Wesley, Josh Skronsky, and John Martinez.
Yeah, 2 of Wesley and Skronsky may be the hottest 2 hitters in this lineup.
And staying hot is Wesley, the man who's at the hot corner today for the Big Train, singles into left field to lead off the second.
Yeah, Wesley now a 13-game on-base streak. Coming into today, he had, in his last 10 games, was hitting .357 with 8 extra base hits and a .961 OPS.
Here's Josh Skronsky. He's boosted his batting average on the year over 300 with a 5-game hit streak, including 3 home runs in his last 3 games.
Yeah, 2 on Monday and then 1 in the first half of Sunday's doubleheader. So 3 in the last 2 days and 3 games. And in that 5-game hit streak, his slugging percentage is over 1,000. His OPS over 1,600. He is absolutely tearing the cover off the ball right now.
He has been mashing righties like Gabe Wheeler all season. .351 batting average against right-handed hurlers. He takes a pitch low, smothered by Thomas.
Yeah, he's just been a lot more solid on the ball. He had some tough batted ball luck to start the year, Skronsky did. And we knew the breakout was coming, but since he, officially broke out 5 games ago, he's just been staying through the ball a lot more, hitting a lot more on a line in the air as opposed to bouncing it on the ground.
Spins on the heel as he fouls that one away. The now patented hefty hack from Skronsky had a pitch up in the zone. It's where he wants the ball. It's where he can drive it. He's got now 2 strikes on him. He's punched out 10 times this year. Grounds it at the first baseman. Grimes kicks off the heel of his glove, flipped over to his pitcher Wheeler, and they retire Josh Skronsky with a bit of kerfuffle on the way, but they get him for out number 1.
Yeah, good job by Grimes to stick with it. Looked like he wanted to go to second originally, and maybe took his eyes off the ball because he was focused on seeing if he had time to nab Wesley. But after booting it, able to recover. And good job by Wheeler, who also maybe wasn't necessarily thinking, I got to get over, because he was, in his mind, that play was going to second. But good job to recover by both men.
Slow breaking ball in there for strike 1 to John Martinez. He had an off day on Monday, went 0 for 3 in the second half of the doubleheader on Sunday.
That ended a 6-game hit streak, which was his longest of the year.
He takes a pitch just a bit outside. He's hitting a smidge under 280 on the campaign with a 738 OPS.
Yeah, that OPS is remarkably the lowest on the team. It would be an above average mark on a lot of teams, including this T-Bolts team. But He's still a very strong bat. He has reached in all 16 games he's played in.
Swinging a drive down the left field line. That is curling foul.
That ball gets out easily if it stays fair. That cleared the fence by 30 feet down in the left field corner. Just hooked it a little too far on the pull side.
But if you were to calculate OPS plus in the Cal Ripken League, John Martinez would have exactly 100. The average OPS in the circuit is 738, which John Martinez possesses. So every hitter in this lineup above average. And it looks like Thomas might have got crossed up a bit, so he'll go out and talk with Wheeler.
Yeah, and if your worst hitter by OPS plus is a league average hitter and he is manning shortstop for you, that is, so, that's not just something he'll take. That is something to shout from the rooftops about. This lineup, I mean, up and down, it's just bat after bat. There's no soft landing spot for a pitcher.
2-2 called, strike 3. Catches the corner for his first K of the day. And speaking of no soft spots, here comes the 8-hole hitter. And, oh, look, it's only the second-place man in the league in OPS.
And Brett Ott with a 1,026 OPS. He's reaching base at a 548 clip. Tops in the league by a considerable margin. He's also third in average behind just Alex Peltier and Emilio Gonzalez, two of his teammates, and sixth in slugging.
Ott is hitting the heck out of the baseball as of recent, including a 4-for-5 day against the Braves. He scored 4 runs, tied for the most of any Big Train player this year in that contest, and he fouls off the first pitch here.
Yeah, 4-for-5, 4 singles, and was hit by a pitch. He's not hitting for a ton of pop this year. The sixth in slug is kind of a tricky number to look at. He only has 4 doubles on the year. It's just because that average is so high that the slug looks good beside it. But he is just getting on base every single time he steps to the plate at this point.
And Gabe Wheeler does a little twitch on the mound that the field ump does not take a liking to, and a balk moves Matt Wesley over to third.
I mean, just in his last 6 games, Brett Ott has the 4-hit game 2 days ago, like you mentioned, and 2 3-hit games.
Sends that one in the center field. Going back, then coming in is Sturdivant, and he makes the catch to conclude the inning. For the second inning in a row, the Big Train have an early single, but then it's stranded 0-0 after 1.5. Looking to add to your collection of baseball memorabilia, the Big Train have just the pieces for you. On July 5th, you can get this very special Sal Colangelo bobblehead here at Shirley Povich Field, and then later on, there's another one to add to the mix.
Yeah, well, first of all, Sal riding a big train, which is, a pretty unique look for a bobblehead. And then on July 10th, that's a week from tomorrow, a week from Thursday, you get a Matt Swope bobblehead, the head coach at Maryland, just finished up his second full season taking over for Rob Vaughn, who moved to Alabama after some very successful years. Matt Swope, a great guy, a very good baseball coach, and really an enjoyable person to talk to as well. And come get his bobblehead, complete with the name and number on the back. There we go.
2 very nice looking pieces of memorabilia that you can pick up here at Shirley Povich Field. Those tickets are, once again, Sal is on July 5th, Matt Swope on July 10th. Go to bigtrain.org/tickets to purchase passes for both of those games.
I, for one, am really excited to take one of these Sal bobbleheads and throw it on my dresser.
Well, and I got to find a way to get one of these. I don't know if they'll keep any extras for the interns, because I'm sure they're all going to go at the gates, but I'll find a way.
Yeah, I would feel a little bad about taking a Matt Swope bobblehead since I call games for a rival Big Ten school, but Coach Sal Colangelo riding a train, that is just a sick piece of gear, and I need it. That's like the perfect kind of compliment to my Big Train polos and my time here, I think.
Atatui way behind Vance Bonyor. The 3-0 is in there for a strike. The junior out of University of Massachusetts Amherst is hitting 355 on the campaign, swinging a very good bat for the T-Bolts, along with David Vazzo, one of the better hitters they have.
Vazzo not in the lineup in game number 1. I'm sure we'll see him in game 2, but Bonyor, like you said, 355, a couple of doubles, 4 driven in. He's only played in 10 of their 19 games.
3-2 slider on the hands, fouled away by Bonyor.
But he has been very successful when he does play. Interestingly, last year he played with the T-Bolts primarily as a pitcher through 11.2 innings for them, but taking a step forward as a hitter. He does still have 2 appearances and 4 innings worked on the mound, though.
He grounds it towards John Martinez, who fields it in front of his cleat and shovels a throw over to first base in plenty of time to beat Bonyor. 4 in a row set down by Atatui.
Atatui looks really comfortable on the mound, able to battle back from 3-0 there. He's just finding the zone with all of his pitches right now. He's got the 1 strikeout, but it's just been perfect location to get soft contact so far.
Comes set against Brady Grimes. The first pitch to him is just a bit outside. But one thing I really noticed about Atatui is when I was doing my preseason prep, I went back and watched whatever videos of guys I could find, watched some high school videos of Atatui when he was a great prep prospect in Florida, but his delivery then, he's throwing about the same speed as he is now, but it was so violent, herky-jerky in high school, and right now, if you watch him, it's smooth, it's measured, it's calm, and he's filling up the zone with it.
And it doesn't feel like he needs to throw 100% on every pitch. He's coming downhill, he's throwing a lot of breaking balls, but he's measured and he's not overexpending energy. And when you have a violent delivery like that, oftentimes in high school you're trying to throw as hard as you can to impress scouts or college coaches, and it leads to some wildness, it leads to increased chance of injury, and it leads to getting tired more quickly. And Atatui just looks very calm and composed right now, and like he's able to throw his best stuff without necessarily topping out on every pitch.
There was a couple good breaking balls to get to 2 strikes on Grimes here. Brady Grimes, a junior from Millersville University. He has a 931 OPS. Plenty of power on this guy. 2 home runs and 3 doubles on the season. But he's set down here by Kide Atatui, his second strikeout.
Yeah, Atatui just is hammering that backdoor slider to right-handed hitters. He's thrown it to every righty he's faced thus far. And every single time, he hasn't really thrown any to the back foot. It's all been starting away and dipping in right on the back part of home plate. And that time, Brady Grimes read it, but just had to go fishing and was not able to get a piece.
First pitch in to Jack Herta is a strike. Many teams, like the Thunderbolts today, when they see Atatui set to start, they'll load up the lineup with righties. Doesn't do much. Righties are hitting just 134 against him coming into this game. It's large part due to what you just said, Elia, that ability to drop in the breaking ball no matter the handedness.
Yeah, and that's a skill that often takes a while for pitchers to learn. So the fact that Atatui has looked this good against righties is really something to behold and really says something for his ability to pitch at the next level.
Comes set in his slightly closed stance against Jack Herta, today's left fielder. He steps off, and he'll restart things. The Big Train have won in every one of his appearances. And he's starting out well today, delivers just out of the zone. It's now 1-2 to Herta.
Well, and he's got a decision in 3 of those 4 games, including a win against the T-Bolts where he came and relieve Drew Bellis. That was back the first week of the season. Since then, the two pitchers have established themselves as the two best starters on this roster.
Another slider outside from Atatui, and it's back to 2-2.
And the guy who earned the save in that game, Owen Stewart, is the best reliever this team has. So at T-Bolts in that game, the Big Train held them to a season-low 1 run. And they saw the 3 best pitchers on the staff at the same time.
Kide Atatui drops it in, back-to-back Ks, and the FAUL is cruising through 2. Stick around for the top of the third, where we'll bring you Alex Rubenson, one of our staff writers, to talk about a great piece he just wrote on Drew Bellis. Joining us on the broadcast now, we have one of our Big Train beat writers here, one of our Kirkjian fellows. It's Alex Rubenson, who just wrote a fantastic piece on Drew Bellis. If you haven't already, go to bigtrain.org and read it. It's about our effervescent starlet throws from the left side. So much fun to watch, and that article was so much fun to read.
Yeah, first off, Jackson, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, so obviously Bellis has kind of really blossomed into being one of the aces of the Bethesda Big Train, and kind of how I even started the article being kind of tagged as the stopper. First 2 games of the year, they were 0-2. They had given up 22 runs, and Bellis kind of comes in against these very same Thunderbolts and shuts the door, and that kind of helps springboard to where the Big Train are now, which is sitting pretty at the top of their division.
A very nice play out the middle by Matthew Kim. He retires Dylan Murphy for out number 1. Nice stretch by Grimes as well. But one thing I want you to walk me through is, obviously, you had this idea a while back. You were talking to us about it. This is a guy I want to feature. And then the day before you release the piece, he goes out and makes a start. And you had to be kind of sweating a bit. It's like, oh, boy, he can't blow this for me.
Yeah, so it is funny because obviously, I kind of circled that date as when it would be released. So the timing obviously really worked out, just in terms of him kind of shoving the night before. But yeah, I talked to him so much during so many of his starts, because he really had been the star of the game so often. So I thought I've talked to him, kind of seeing some of what he does on the mound, game by game, but kind of wanted to take that step back, see who is Drew Bellis outside of the Big Train. How has he developed? How has he come to being one of the best pitchers here in Bethesda? So that's kind of how the idea started. And I always like to.
As a ground ball over to third, fielded by Curry. He retires Peltier. Second ground of the day for the East Carolina Pirate. 2 outs now for Brennan Wright.
But yeah, no, I was just saying, kind of like to start from when he was young, and then kind of go from there. Obviously, him going to IMG Academy for high school, one of the top high schools for baseball in the entire country, and then now he pitches at University of Central Florida, where we're talking with his teammate Michael Cast, who's also here with the Big Train. Firm believer that Bellis could be one of their big-time weekend starters for UCF next spring.
So, how did you come to frame the article in that way, about looking about Bellis's growth and his, increase in productivity over the years?
Yeah, well, I think, as I said, like, my whole process when approaching really features in general is like, how am I telling the story of said player? And all of these players in the Cal Ripken League are still developing. They're still growing. So kind of looking at it from when he was young to his days at IMG to obviously at UCF during his freshman year and now with the Big Train.
Well, Alex, thanks so much for joining us here on the Big Train Baseball Network. Once again, go to bigtrain.org and read Alex's excellent piece. And Calvin Kaplan, our other beat writer, he is excellent as well. We'll have him on later when he writes his first feature. But Alex, again, thanks so much for your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Up, 6 down for Kide Atatui through his first 2 innings of work. Eliav Brooks-Rubin rejoins me, Jackson Corcoran, on the Big Train Baseball Network after a brief chat with Alex Rubenson. But looking smooth so far, one of our 2-star lefties.
Yeah, first of all, always happy to cede my chair and my headset to a talented writer so that he can get some publicity. But Kide Atatui, I mean, he just looks so comfortable.
Sliding play at second base by Brennan Wright, and he keeps the line on moving, retiring Nathan Rodriguez on a 4-3 putout. Be playing in the scorecard, but nothing plain about that play.
Yeah, right to the backhand and the slide. This dirt is playing a little wetter than it usually does, so the ball's going to be slowed down a little bit, but sliding, and the range is just going to be a little tougher for these infielders whose feet are going to get a little bit stuck in the mud. So Brendan Wright going to his slide, kind of got chopped down by that dirt, but able to stick with it and make a nice throw.
On the game, Kide Atatui has thrown 34 pitches through 2 1/3. His season high is 74. Here's Bryce Curry. He swings and pops one down the right field line, twisting towards the Thunderbolts bullpen, and it's foul.
Atatui continuing to pepper the away part of the zone to right-handers. Doing a really good job there. That time he's gone mostly sinker slider. He's mixed in a couple change-ups. The sinker is going to be 85 to 87. The slider's coming in pretty slow. It's about 74 to 76, but he has pinpoint accuracy on both pitches.
Third baseman Curry takes one of those sliders inside. On the campaign, Bryce Curry is hitting 111 with just 1 extra base hit. He hails from Gaithersburg, Maryland, right down the road. He swings to 1-1 and pops it straight up right above the head of Dylan Murphy. Doesn't even have to discard the mask. Makes a one-handed catch in the right-handed batter's box. 2 away in the third.
Yeah, good job by Dylan Murphy popping right out of his squat, getting the mask off, and picking up that ball early because that didn't go very high. And for a catcher, a lot of times your first step is towards the netting. If he goes towards the netting and doesn't read that off the bat, that ball might drop, probably in foul territory, but at least would give Curry another life.
Here's Matthew Kim, the 9-hole hitter in this lineup. Fly ball down the right field line. It's tailing towards the foul pole, but well short of it, and it lands on the warning track, strike 1. Kide Atatui has thrown over 2/3 strikes so far, and that's let him mow down a Silver Spring lineup that, despite their pitching side success, has struggled at times this year.
At dead last in the Cal Ripken League in OPS is this T-Bolts lineup. 7th in average, dead last in on base, fewest amount of runs and hits So they have just really struggled to produce up and down the lineup. And that's a little bit of a shock, Jackson, because this is a team that brought back 7 hitters from last year's squad. So they clearly liked what they had enough last year to run it back. And yet, we have not seen good production from them.
It speaks all the more to how good their pitching has been. Liner right towards John Martinez, plays on the long hop and delivers a strike to his teammate Emilio Gonzalez at first. Kide Adatui having himself a day through 3 innings. We're here on the Big Train Baseball Network.
To bat for the second time, Peyton Steele, Emilio Gonzalez, Matt Wesley taking on Gabe Wheeler, who has looked fantastic through 3 innings, but he leads off the 4th with a hit by pitch, and the leadoff runner is aboard.
Wheeler has been pinpoint so far, but that is something that could portend ill for him. He's a soft tosser, throws in the low 80s, but he's been spotting up and getting weak contact from the big train. But if he gets out of the zone, gets behind and counts, that's when guys can really jump on his fastballs.
Yeah, has only allowed 1 hard hit ball today. That was Matthew Wesley's single into left field. Gonzalez often hits the ball hard. He's to the plate now. Wheeler's 1-0. That one is hit hard into right field, but coming on is Rodriguez for out number 1.
It's a well-struck ball by Emilio Gonzalez, but got it a little bit off the end. Didn't carry quite as much as he thought it might have, and Rodriguez able to make the snag. But here comes Wesley again. Jumped on a fastball early in the count last time he was up, so might look to do much of the same.
And Matt Wesley stranded on third base by Brett Ott in the 2nd. Hits one hard and high to left, pushing back Herta. He's at the track, and it is gone. Matthew Wesley, a 2-run shot to start the scoring. That ball just kept carrying and carrying 100 miles off the bat, 374 feet. His first of the year, and the big train on top.
Pitch on the inner half of the plate. It's a fastball to a guy that saw your fastball really well last time, and Wesley loved the pitch that he saw, and he cranked it, just got the hands inside, pulled it to the light pole, and long gone, 375 feet.
Josh Skoronsky trying to follow up that act. He's got 3 long balls, all in the last 3 days, 2 days of games. Yesterday's contest rained out, matching his total from last season with the big train, where he played 22 games, put up really good numbers, 255 average, 878 OPS, 3 doubles, 3 homers, but he has eclipsed most of his numbers from last year already. We're only halfway through the year. He's played 4 fewer games. The average is up 50 points. The on-base is up. The slugging's way up. He's got equal amount of homers, more doubles, added a triple. He's scored more times and nearly walked as much. 1-2. Outside.
And baseball's a confidence game, and that recent, spurt from Skaronski has led to more hitting. I think a few weeks ago he might swing at that pitch, miss, and there ends his at bat.
Instead, he runs the count full on Wheeler, who is suddenly looking not quite as sharp as he did the first 3 innings. Payoff pitch from the small right-hander, fouled straight back by Skaronski.
That's a pitch that Wheeler puts right where he wants it. And yes, Skaronski just fouled it off, but that in itself is a sign of a hitter doing what he wants at the plate. There's not much he can do with that, barring a perfect swing other than foul it off, and now he might get to see a better one.
Well, he sees a worse pitch in the zone, but better for his results. Takes ball 4. After the Wesley home run, Skaronski reaches. And now John Martinez bats with 1 on and 1 out.
Obviously, the thing that stands out is those 3 home runs, but those are the kind of at-bats that really show that you're going well. And you're behind in the count, way behind. Guy throws you a couple of good pitches, you work it full, and then take a walk.
Martinez popped up on the infield, right behind the dirt. It's the second baseman, Kim, who secures out number 2.
It's going to be really important for Wheeler to keep throwing the breaking ball like he has. There's action in the Thunderbolts bullpen. I don't know how long Wheeler will be in this game, but if he keeps rolling, being able to locate the breaking ball in and out like he just did to Martinez is going to be huge, because Big Train hitters the second time through are starting to see his fastball better, but the breaking pitch they're still having a bit more trouble with.
Brett Ott will hit, and a grounder up the middle, but scooped by Wheeler, who jogs over to first, flips on to Brady Grimes for out number 3, but Matthew Wesley draws first blood. The Big Train lead it 2-0. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Getting their second crack at Kide Atatui. We're into the 4th inning. Big Train on top 2-0. Atatui takes on Erd, Sturdivant, and Thomas. First pitch, slider on the outside, hit hard, but right at Alex Peltier. 1 pitch, 1 out.
And that's the best thing you can do as a pitcher, is not necessarily miss bats, but miss barrels. And Kide Atatui has shown an ability to do that pretty consistently, because that pitch, Herb puts a decent swing on it, but he only hits it 86 miles per hour off the bat at the end of the day. Atatui locates it well. It's a slider at the knees, and Herb just kind of flies it to one of the best defenders in the league.
Here is that defender's counterpart now at the plate, Caleb Sturdivant. who might be the best outfielder in the league defensively. Fortunately, the bat has yet to catch up. He is 0 for 34 on the season. We're into July, and he's still hunting his first base hit.
We've seen some astounding plays, even here at Shirley Povich Field from him. And there's a reason he's still in the lineup. He's still adding value to this Thunderbolts team, but they need him hitting and soon.
Atatui misses. Ball to game number 20 for the T-Bolts. So if Sturdivant cannot pick up a hit in this game, he will have gone the entire first half of his season without a base knock. 2-1 on the outside corner. This is game 21 for the Big Train, who have entered the second half of their year. They sit at 14-6, good for number 1 in the Cal Ripken League. It was a little bit of a slow start to the year, just 1-3. But they have been dialed in ever since. Atatui's 2-2. Popped up. It's Martinez and Wesley. Martinez calling off Wesley for out number 2.
And Kide Atatui doing stuff like that is a big part of why the Big Train have been so good lately. That was the bugaboo early on, was pitching. They allowed double-digit runs in quite a few of those early games. Those 3 losses in the first 4, all double-digit runs allowed. But since then, it's been guys like Atatui, Bellis, even Connor Lehman stepping up to provide good starts. That's made the difference.
Line drive, base hit. Evades the diving glove of Brennan Wright. That is the first base runner of the game. Atatui went 3.2 perfect innings. But the perfect game and the no-hit bid both broken up in the 4th.
That's a tough break for Atatui in the Big Train because Thomas hits that one off the very end of the bat. 69 miles an hour up the middle. Just squirts by Wright and Martinez, who had absolutely no shot at it.
Well, Vance Bonyor will try to add on. Atatui first picks off. Got Steve Thomas leaning, but not enough. Atatui works more than half the game without allowing a base runner, 3.2 out of 7 innings. Now faces traffic for the first time today, although it's an innocuous 2-out single. Vance Bonyor grounded out to short his first time up. Sun peeking out from behind the clouds, making the field a little brighter, maybe drying up the dirt a little bit. And Atatui misses with the 87-mile-an-hour fastball.
Gotta shut down this inning here because for 3 2/3 innings, Atatui was engendering a feeling of hopelessness in this Thunderbolts lineup. But Thomas gives them a spark, and if Bonyor gets on, they really start to believe.
Bonyor fouls the 2-0 back. Good pitch to hit.
But the job of a starting pitcher is to beat the other team into submission, and that's what Atatui had been doing. But if the T-Bolts can scrape and claw at him, get some guys on, in a response to the first runs allowed of this game, that'll be a huge momentum swing.
2-1 from Atatui. In for strike 2, right at the knees.
That is just a gorgeous changeup. Down in the count, your tertiary pitch, and you just put it right where you want it. Couldn't have thrown it any better. I mean, Bonyor never going to pull the trigger.
52nd pitch of the outing for Atatui, and he misses high and away. Count runs full for just the second time this afternoon.
I see what he's trying to do there. What he, Lopez, and Murphy are trying to plan. Play off that, play off that changeup. Throw outside. He releases a little early and lets it fly high and away.
See if he comes back, plays off the fastball with the slider. 3-2 pitch. He does throw the slider. That misses. Well, that may have been the changeup, actually.
I think it was the changeup, but it's another very good spot for it outside, but left it a little too far up, which lets Bonyor just flick the hands at it and stay alive. It's a good swing by today's DH to earn himself another one.
Pitch number 7 of the at-bat. Hardest Atatui's had to work today. Line drive into left field. Ranging over is Brett Ott. Going first to third is Thomas. And he thinks about home. Advancing to second is Bonyor after the throw escaped Wesley's glove. So a little bit of tricky defending. Matthew Wesley just did not catch the cutoff throw from Ott, and suddenly a base hit ties this game.
It's just kind of a needless throw in. Ott, gave it a yank towards Wesley at third. One you probably just need to just get in, hold the guys at the corners, because that allows Vance Bonyor into scoring position. Now he's the tying run.
Brady Grimes will be tasked with doing the damage on Atatui, who has been razor sharp so far, but is facing his first traffic. Grimes has had more success against the Big Train than any T-Bolts hitter this year. 2 for 6 coming into the day with a home run and a double. First pitch, a strike.
Big turnaround at bat here for Atatui in the Big Train. You're facing a pretty solid hitter in Grimes in the 5 spot. He's got 2 guys on, but if you can deaden things here, really puts you on good footing for the rest of this game.
Popped up, foul territory, but in play. It's Matthew Wesley. Near the dugout, he makes the grab. The T-Bolts break up the perfect game bid, but Kide Atatui works out of a 2-out jam to hold the lead at 2-0. We will take a look at the standings, where a lot has shifted since the last time we were here at Povich Field, mostly in the Southern Division. Take it away, Quincy.
The Big Train are halfway through their 2025 season, 20 games so far, 20 games left, but things are starting to heat up at the top of both division standings. Let's take a look at the list. The Big Train currently sit 1.5 games ahead of the Silver Spring-Takoma Thunderbolts, who they are in the midst of playing a doubleheader right now. The only Krupp Dusters still hanging around, only 3 games back, the Gaithersburg Giants. So far, a season to forget, they sit at 4-18. Things have completely gone upside down in the South. The Southern Maryland Senators, who started the season 9-1, have only won 3 of their last 11. They sit at 12-9. The Alexandria Aces have stormed to the front, taking first place by a half game over the Senators, and the DC Grays have been continuing to win games. They also only sit a half game back. The Metro South County Braves, after losing an extra innings to the Big Train on Monday, still sit at the bottom at 5-16. The Senators, losers of 5 in a row. Alexandria, winners of 3 in a row.
Dylan Murphy will be first to bat in the 5th after the Big Train escaped a jam in the 4th. Atatui allowed back-to-back 2-out hits, but earned a pop-up in foul territory to close out the 4th. Murphy, Peltier right. Gabe Wheeler still working for the T-Bolts, and he gets a first pitch grounder to short, on to first for out number 1.
There's that breaking ball for Gabe Wheeler. It's working well for him when he's going to it early in counts. That first pitch at the bottom of the zone, and it kind of gets Murphy off the end of the bat. Ground ball right at a very solid defender in Erd.
Here's Alex Peltier, 0 for 2 today. He's riding a 6-game hit streak, and he's only gone hitless twice this season. One of those was his first appearance against the T-Bolts. He missed the first 2 games of the season, showed up, went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts in the leadoff spot against the T-Bolts, and then took off from there.
Yeah, he's been such a cornerstone.
Squares around a bunt. We've seen him bunt for a number of hits this season. He and Brett Ott, Brendan Wright did it in this game, but he and Brett Ott have really mastered the skill of laying a bunt down the third baseline and earning a single, even in a sacrifice situation. Bryce Curry all the way on the cut of the grass to defend against it, but it won't matter if Gabe Wheeler can't throw a strike. He's behind 3-0.
And I think the square might have rattled Wheeler a bit because, he just yanked that pitch, something we haven't seen him do today.
4 pitches, 4 balls. And Alex Peltier, dangerous on the base paths, is aboard with a walk, just his 8th of the season.
And Sal Colangelo, not a manager who shows a lot of emotion during the game, but I got to think he's cracking a little smile at the T-Bolts walking his leadoff hitter, Alex Peltier. You cannot give a man like this a free trip around the bases.
Now, with 1 out and Brennan Wright, Peyton Steele coming to the dish, especially with a soft throw on the mound. Would not be shocked to see Peltier go on pitch 1. Stays put for now. And strike 1 into Wright.
You know, you notice a lot of little things about the way Peltier runs the bases. If you're a kid, you know, trying to learn the ins and outs of base running, take a look at Peltier, because he always looked the same whether he's taking off or not. He looks like he could go right now, but he's not. He's able to read the pickoff move, dive back in.
Alex Peltier reaches with a 1-out walk. And now Brendan Wright, who's got one of the 3 big train hits in this game. Another pickoff, this one before Wheeler comes set, but Peltier dives back in safely.
Also so good at, you know, knowing his distances. He takes an extra step there. He's like, well, I had plenty of time when the tag was swiped down. And so he takes an extra step. Now he's got a bigger secondary. Now he might have a better shot at stealing that bag if he goes on this 1-1.
Gabe Wheeler misses with a fastball. 1-1. Wheeler set. There goes Peltier. Curveball in for a strike. Throw down. Skips away and into center field. Peltier taking off for third. Sturdivant's throw to third is high, and Alex Peltier goes first to third with a stolen base and an E2. We've seen him do that a number of times this season.
You know, don't you just love it as the color commentator, Eliav, when you're, you know, on some part of the game, you talk about it, and then it comes to pass right away. I mean, talk about the difference that Peltier makes in the bases, and now he goes first to third on 1 pitch, and Brendan Wright, a great contact guy at the plate, with him at third and 1 out.
2-1 misses. Counts 3-1 to Wright, who's not afraid to work his walks. Top 10 in the Cal Ripken League in walks. Infield was in for the 2-1. Now the middle infield drops back for the 3-1. Corners still playing on the grass. Brendan Wright earns a walk. So back-to-back walks from Wheeler, who may not be too long for this game, with Peyton Steele and his pop coming to the plate.
This is a big plate appearance for Wheeler and the T-Bolts. Got to retire Steele here or risk the big train kind of ripping this game open. Steele, Gonzalez, and Wesley do up, and then not to mention Skowronski after him. Could be the makings of a big inning.
Here's Peyton Steele, who has batted right in the middle of the lineup since he arrived. Most games has hit 5th, but moved up to 3rd with Martinez sliding down. Steele has a fascinating streak. In all 16 games he's played this season, including today, he's either driven in a run or scored one himself. Brendan Wright taking off for second. Throw from Thomas is cut off by Kim in front of the bag. Brendan Wright has himself a stolen base. Steele was hit by a pitch in the 4th, scored on the Wesley 2-run shot. So extends his streak to 16 straight games with either an RBI or a run. 37 runs produced in that span, and now a meeting on the mound.
While Steele's pure stats, while they're very, very good, may not be the best on the team, he just does so much to turbocharge this lineup, to lengthen it, you know, to just have a guy who you know is going to put in a solid at-bat right in the middle. That's why the Big Train are 12-2 when he plays.
Yeah, just 2-4 without Peyton Steele in the lineup. Actually, I think it's just 1-4. I think they're 13-2. As I have, or at least on my notes, he's played in 15 games. Definitely missed the first 4 games, 3 of which were losses. Whatever the number is, 12-2 or 13-2. They have struggled without Steele. Line drive, diving catch from Matthew Kim. Both runners get back safely, but a 2 RBI robbery from the second baseman, Kim.
Boy, that is just incredible from Kim. He's on the grass, and that ball is hit hard, 102. I mean, right on the screws from Peyton Steele and Kim. An instant reaction. That is a really, really difficult play. You know, put a star in your scorebook next to that L4.
Now we'll see if Gonzalez can do the damage anyway, but if Wheeler's able to get out of this inning without a run crossing the plate and keep the T-Bolts within easy striking distance, that is going to be a monumental play in this game. Wheeler, before he can celebrate anything or congratulate his second baseman, has to get through Emilio Gonzalez, who ripped one to right, now rips one to left, but foul.
Yeah, if Wheeler able to escape, he better go up to Kim as he walks back to the dugout and say, hey, man, what's your favorite place to eat around here? Because next one's on me. I mean, that saves 2 runs in the instant vicinity, but probably saves a few more because a runner on first, 1 out resulting from that could be the grounds for a bigger inning.
Wheeler's 0-2 misses out to Gonzalez, who's not liable to expand the zone. Gonzalez, a lazy fly into center and a hard line drive into right for his 2 outs. But a chance to do some damage and give his pitcher a little bit of cushion. 1-2 pitch. Misses high.
I think that's just a pure setup pitch because I don't think Wheeler's under any illusion that he's going to blow a fastball by Gonzalez, but you have to show it to him out of the zone so you can go back to the breaking ball. Don't let him sit on an off speed.
2-2. Gonzalez fouls it one away. He's just able to sit on that breaking ball enough to foul it off to the left side.
And I think if he doesn't throw that fastball right before, that pitch isn't set up as well, and Gonzalez able to look breaking ball a bit more and drive it because that pitch was on the outer half where Gonzalez can work pretty well.
Count still even at 2. Gonzalez line drive, again just foul. He's fouled off 3 balls to the opposite field. That one had Alex Peltier ducking out of the way over running the bases off third.
Admirable approach from Gonzalez. A guy throwing not too hard, but spotting up on the outer half, and Gonzalez committed to going the other way, seeing it deep, and trying to hit it hard somewhere rather than trying to force it out in front, force a pull.
2-2 from Wheeler to Gonzalez. Line drive hard into center, pushing Sturdivant back, and he makes the grab backpedaling on the warning track. So Emilio Gonzalez has lit into a couple of baseballs, but 0 for 3 to show for it. And the big train strand 2 in scoring position. Kide Atatui working into the 5th inning when we come back. Atatui escaped his first bit of adversity in the 4th. Now on for the bottom of the lineup in the 5th. He gets the 6, 7, 8, Herta, Rodriguez, and Curry. Pitch count sits at 56. Just a 7-inning game, but the Big Train have used a lot of pitchers lately and may be looking for Atatui to work another inning on top of this one. That will, of course, depend on how this inning develops and how he looks, but so far he has thrown 40 of his 57 pitches for strikes. 0-1. In again for strike 2. Same spot, same result.
That means he's throwing about 4 balls an inning, and that's a ratio you can work with in this league.
Yet to walk a batter, just 2 base runners, both singles. 0-2 misses out. There's one of his 4.
But that is something, well, if you can say that Kide Atatui struggled with anything today, it's been the put away. He's wasted some 0-2 pitches, just not in a chase zone.
Has the 1-2 set up and gets a swing and a miss. Down goes Herta for out number 1 and strikeout number 4.
And those last 2 pitches, a study in contrasts, both out of the zone, both not too far from each other in eventual spot, but in intent and in result, they're so different because of how they were set up. The first pitch is a fastball. The first 0-2 just yanked, and it's just not that competitive. But you move that in about 3 inches and make it a breaking ball instead, and you get a big swing and a miss from a lefty.
Here's Rodriguez, line drive, caught by Wesley, leaping over at third, not his natural position, but looking smooth over there for out number 2.
And again, that ball, with the leaping grab, a good play by Wesley for sure. It's still just 73 off the bat. He's missing barrels, and that's allowing Wesley, who's playing the hot corner, to get a better read on that and make the catch because guys aren't squaring him up.
Matthew Wesley had to hang in the air a little bit. Back-to-back first pitch swinging. This one chopped to Martinez. Off the back foot, throw takes Gonzalez up the line, but he applies the tag for out number 3. Just a 8-pitch inning for Kide Atatui, who is out of this one quickly. We go to the 6th.
Gabe Wheeler works 5 solid innings for the Silver Spring-Takoma Thunderbolts, but now gives way to Braden Featherwolf. Will try and keep this a 2-run game as we move through the 6th, Elliot.
Yeah, Featherwolf has appeared in just 1 game. It was a start. He worked 4 scoreless, allowed 5 base runners, and struck out 3. He comes from Clarion University, where he started half of his appearances, 5 out of 10. A 3-3 record, a 6 ERA, and a 13 strikeout to 10 walk ratio.
His first pitch to Matt Wesley is fouled away. Wesley picked up his first home run of the season back in the 4th, the 11th jack of the year for the Big Train as a ball club.
And it moved Wesley past Peyton Steele for a lead in total extra base hits in the Cal Ripken League and on the team.
He takes a pitch just upstairs from Featherwolf at 87 miles an hour. Featherwolf coming here from Shoemakersville, Pennsylvania. And he puts a breaking ball high, but something I noticed right away on that pitch from Featherwolf is he slowed down hard when he threw that off-speed pitch. It looked very different. I wonder if that's a cue that Big Train hitters can pick up on.
Yeah, almost certainly that's going to be something that is noticed by these hitters. And something that they will take advantage of if Featherwolf doesn't fix that quickly.
He's way behind a Matt Wesley, not a place you want to be. Wesley's swinging a very hot bat right now. And he sends that one in the center field. It's dropping fast. Sturdivant coming in and making the catch. That's why he's on the ball club. Fantastic defense in center field once again from Caleb Sturdivant.
Yeah, Sturdivant didn't even get a fantastic jump on that. He was a step slow off his spot in center, but the acceleration was quick. There was no hesitation once he figured out where he wanted to go and then stuck through the play with a beautiful diving catch.
He is truly a plus 60 or 70 grade defender. It's fouled off by Josh Skoronsky, first pitch from Featherwolf to him.
Yeah, if only he could get that bat to come around.
He's had it in the past. He played 25 games for the University of Pittsburgh in his freshman year back in 2023 and hit 220, but as a freshman in the ACC, that's not, not that bad.
Not bad at all.
But in the last 2 years he spent at Millersville, he's a total of 1 for 21, which means he is 1 for 55 in his last 2 years total. Another fly ball. This one's easier for Sturdivant. That's 2 away.
Yeah, Big Train hitters have to try hard not to hit anything back up the middle in this game. Kind of counterintuitive, but anything in the air near center field is going to get run down at this rate. That one probably caught by most center fielders, but Matthew Wesley certainly is not.
Line drive up the middle, one hopper to Josh Erd, who slings over to first. 1, 2, 3, go the Big Train in the top of the 6th. Some of the great Big Train players who are on display today, like Kide Atatui, might be on display on July 9th in the Cal Ripken League All-Star Game. More information about that to come.
Make sure to join us here on July 9th for the Cal Ripken League All-Star Game. The league's best players will be on display in a star-studded affair.
Tim Kirkchin will be in attendance, so make sure to get your tickets before they sell out.
It'll be the North Division versus the South Division, and you can get your tickets at bigtrain.org/tickets. That's bigtrain.org/tickets.
On the bump for Kide Atatui, who has been sterling so far. 5 innings, 2 hits allowed, no runs. He faces the 9-hole hitter and then 1 and 2 in the Silver Spring lineup.
Looking to solidify himself as at least the 2nd longest outing by a Big Train pitcher this season. Russell Peterson owns the title for 7 scoreless on Sunday. Atatui may have the opportunity to match that, but with an out here, he will at worst have the 2nd longest outing.
Technically, once he returns his first out, he will have the longest outing by a starter this year, even though Peterson started the day. He didn't start the game, since it was a resumed game. Still a brilliant outing from Peterson, no matter the semantics. That pitch is in there for a strike to Matthew Kim. He grounded out to John Martinez back in the 3rd to end a run through the lineup the first time, where Atatui retired everybody he faced. Line drive, left center gap, moving in. Brett Ott, he dives. Does he have it? Yes, he does. Brett Ott makes the play. There's one down.
Well, Brett Ott says, I see you, Caleb Sturdivant. Watch this. He was shaded in and into left center, which was the only reason he had a chance on that. But that was still a 5-star catch. And the Silver Spring coach out to argue whether that was indeed a catch.
Needed a perfect jump, a perfect read to get there, and he got it. What a play by Brett Ott. And had to go pick it off the ground. What a catch by the left fielder. And sometimes, as well as Atatui's pitching, it helps to have an impeccable defense behind you, which this Big Train team has presided today, aside from one Ott throwing miscue, more than making up for it with that catch.
Yeah, the throwing miscue only cost one base, and it was the trail runner. That, though, prevents the leadoff man from reaching.
Little flipper down the first base line, grabbed by Emilio Gonzalez. There's 2 dead in the 6th.
And Atatui, after running that pitch count a little high in the 4th, worked a 6th pitch 5th, and has thrown 6 pitches to record the first 2 outs in the 6th.
Caleb Sturdivant looking to break out of the skid. He's 0 for 2 today. The fly out and a pop out, and he takes ball 1.
Wouldn't that be something, breaking out of your 0 for 35 stretch with a hit against the best pitcher on the opposing team who has all of his things working?
A backdoor slider for strike 1 to Sturdivant. Center fielder stands 5'11", weighing in at 215. Moves very well for a guy of that stature and swings and misses at that one.
And I'll tell you what, if there's ever a time for a hit, it's right after a defensive play like the one he just made in the last half inning. But Atatui is keeping him off balance right now.
The old ASOH, as so often happens. The 1-2, slider outside. People say that after a fantastic play in the field, it very often happens that you come up at the plate with a chance to do even more damage.
And look who's due up first for the Big Train in the top of the 7th. It's Brett Ott.
As so often happens. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, Atatui versus Sturdivant. Breaking ball inside, good leave by the center fielder. The eye has never left him, despite his struggles with the bat. He's walked 10 times this year, still has an on-base percentage near 300.
He's also been hit by 6 pitches. Doesn't take as good of an eye to see when a pitch is going to hit you, but he's reaching base at a respectable clip.
The payoff. Low ball 4. Caleb Sturdivant earns himself a walk and brings up the first man to pick up a hit against Atatui today, Steve Thomas.
A really good at-bat by Sturdivant, even though he was not able to break that hitting slump. And he just went behind 1 and 2, a pretty bad swing on the 1-1 pitch for strike 2, and then just good eye to watch some pretty competitive off-speed pitches go for ball 2 and ball 3. And then ball 4 was just a fastball that Atatui just probably wants back.
Atatui has eclipsed his season high in pitches just through his 74th. Still looking strong, though. Fastball velocity holding steady in the high 80s.
And no action in the bullpen at the moment.
Steve Thomas takes outside at 87 miles an hour from Atatui, who will mess with his landing spot a bit, stalk back to the rubber, and look to put this inning to bed. Pickoff at first. Sturdivant's leaning. He is safe. Looked like he had him. Good tag by Gonzalez. First base umpire says that Sturdivant got a hand in, and the inning continues.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that. I thought Emilio Gonzalez got the tag down. Sturdivant leaning the wrong direction. Atatui, a very casual pickoff move, just kind of lifted the leg and then put it down and rifled a sidearm throw over to first, and nearly had the third out of the inning.
Atatui comes home here, and it's high and outside. 2 balls, no strikes. This is his first walk of the day to Sturdivant last at bat. Don't want to lose Thomas here. That pitch is upstairs, ball 3. He's worked back from deep counts before in this game, but Vance Bonyor waits on deck, and he's a cleanup hitter who can clean up. Another pickoff at first, Sturdivant more ready. Atatui wheels and fires. Ball 4 just a bit outside. First and second for Vance Bonyor. And this is the second time today that the Thunderbolts have found a runner in scoring position.
Now 2 on, both coming with 2 outs for the second inning. Only times that runners have reached have been with 2 outs, so Atatui at least doing a good job allowing runners mostly in harmless situations, but this can turn dangerous quickly with powerful Bonyor and powerful Grimes on deck.
Atatui gets a supportive hand on his shoulder and a slap in the back from the kindly pitching coach Craig Lopez. Now he has to retire Vance Bonyor. Bonyor 1 for 2 on the day. He singled into left field and advanced to second on a throwing error, and then was stranded by a Brady Grimes pop-up. First pitch to Bonyor. Steerite call to the bottom of the zone. Throws a slider in there.
Can't make a better pitch than that, especially after a 4-pitch walk, trusting the off-speed stuff and burying it right at the knees from the outside, breaking through the back door.
That pitch is flown into right field. Steele has a good look at it, and on the edge of the shadows, Steele closes the mitt and closes the door on the 6th inning. 6 scoreless thrown by Kide Atatui. To the final frame we go on the Big Train Baseball Network. As so often happens, leading off the 7th inning after a excellent catch in left field in the 6th. He's 0 for 2 today with a flyout and a chopper back to the mound.
Well, Caleb Sturdivant, after his great catch, was just the 3rd man to reach base for the T-Bolts. See if Brett Ott can get aboard for the first time.
He swings and grounds it towards first base coach Joe McIntyre. Skips under his hand into the wall for strike 1.
Ott this season, or in his last 6 games, is hitting .542. That's been a little bit quieter today. He's yet to have a hit against the T-Bolts this season. So 0 for 4 with 2 walks and 3 strikeouts, and now 0 for 6, including today's contest.
First pitch is a ball low from, or a second pitch rather, is a ball low from Braden Featherolf. Now the 1-1, way outside. The Big Train have been excellent in the late innings. The 7th inning is the only one of the final 3 they'll play today, but in those final 3, Big Train have a run differential of 57-15 in and after the 7th. Fly ball left field line, foul.
Train exceptionally good in those late inning situations. However, one of their few losses that came to this team all the way back on June 22nd included, well, no, it was just the 1 run that came in the late innings of a doubleheader, so just the 6th. They tacked on mostly early.
Yeah. The Big Train trying to tack on here, but Brett Ott swings and misses. Just the 2nd strikeout of the day for the Big Train offense. She's been putting the ball in play early and often, but good defense on the other end from the T-Bolts has kept them mostly off the board. Dylan Murphy takes ball 1 just a bit outside from Featherolf. Featherolf brings the glove down, up, the leg goes, and that's a foul ball away from Murphy. Big Train are 14-1 when leading after 5 innings, 13-0 when leading after 6, trying to keep that solid record intact today.
The 1 loss coming against the Aces on Saturday of a doubleheader where they allowed a 7-run 6th.
Dylan Murphy shatters the bat on a looping liner towards Bryce Curry. He makes the simple catch, avoids the debris, and there's 2 away in the inning.
Really good pitch by Featherolf, and you pointed out that he was tipping his pitches a little bit, and it was going to be maybe a field day for these Big Train hitters. They're 0 for 5 against Featherolf, who has, again, not throwing the sharpest of stuff, but is picking his spots and getting soft contact.
Went inside and sawed off Murphy there, and it brings up Alex Peltier. Peltier takes a look at a first pitch ball, a slider just low and away.
Oh, well, Featherolf not happy with that call. He thought that should have been strike 1. Peltier, though, has hits in 15 of 17 at risk of sliding to 15 of 18. He's 0 for 2 today.
Square Savant pulls it back, and our 3D TrackMan zone lends some credence to Featherolf's frustration. Both of those are displayed as strikes. On the very edge of the zone, though, tough calls to make for the umpire.
Especially the second one with the bunt in the way.
That one is just a bit outside, but after those first 2 technically misses, it's going to upset Featherolf a little more. He's way behind to Alex Peltier, who's already walked once today. Direct call to the bottom of the zone, presented nicely by Steve Thomas. Yanks it up into the K zone for strike 1.
I'd like to see Peltier swing away.
Well, not at that. That's way outside. A gift to Alex Peltier, and it brings up Brennan Wright.
Now, Peltier seems destined to go hitless in this game, barring a wild turn of events, but he will take a 2-walk day, especially with another righty on the mound. That'll give him a chance to swipe his 15th bag if he so desires.
It'll slightly lower his batting average of .408, but it'll keep his on-base percentage about the same, 2 for 4 in the on-base category. He's got a .482 on-base clip for the season. And right, walking up to J. Cole. He steps in and has a chance to move his mate Peltier along the base paths. Featherwolf is set at the belt. Slide step pitch inside for a strike.
She quote tweeted the rain out graphic so quickly last night.
Kick over towards first base, not in time. Brennan Wright on the season is 11 for 46, average of about 225 against right-handed pitchers. Reverse splits for the lefty.
Meanwhile, he's hitting .464, almost double the average against lefties. And he has struck out just twice against left-handed pitching and 6 times against righties.
Pick over towards first, again not in time. He has 8 multi-hit games in the year. Today is not yet one of them. If he does make today a multi-hit game, it'll be his 5th such contest in his last 6. Right, waggles the bat and takes a strike on the edge of the zone low. Featherwolf coming in a bit firmer than his predecessor Wheeler in the mid-80s instead of the low. Featherwolf wobbles on the mound, finally comes fully set. Peltier takes off and Brennan Wright taps it foul.
And not much Wright can do with 2 strikes. Alex Peltier had that bag stolen, but 2 strikes and 2 outs, you got to be obviously protecting the zone. That pitch would have been strike 3. We'll see if Peltier decides to take off moving again and maybe gets a ball to work with.
If Wright can get on, it'll be Peyton Steele, a guy with a .320 average with runners in scoring position. Wright trying to keep the line moving with another 2-strike pitch. Fouls it off.
Peltier shortened up the lead a little bit there and elected not to go anywhere.
Brennan Wright has struck out just once in his last 24 at-bats. Pick over towards first. The tag slapped on the rump of Peltier is not in time. Just 5 hits scattered around this baseball game by both teams. One of them, though, a home run by Matt Wesley in the 4th. That's the difference in the game. The 1-2 to Wright. Fouled off once again.
Yeah, it's been a very cleanly played game. 5 hits allowed by the combined 3 pitchers who have taken the mound. 2 errors made, but both only allowing 1 extra base, none allowing a runner to reach who wouldn't have otherwise reached.
Featherwolf's pitch is chopped with the middle towards Josh Erd. Fields is on the low hop and tags the bag at second base to retire the side in the 7th. We're going to the bottom half of this inning. The Big Train looking to put away game 1 of this doubleheader. We're on the day out of 2, he makes a magnanimous exit after 6 brilliant innings, allows just 2 hits, walks 2, and strikes out 4. In absolute control of this game from the start of his outing to the finish. Tanner Kaler comes on to try and slam the door here in the 7th.
Kaler has one bad outing, but otherwise has been extremely sharp for the big train. Came on Sunday to close the door on a 13-1 game.
That slug to left field, no doubt about it. A long home run for Brady Grimes, his 3rd of the year, and the deficit is cut in half like that.
Well, I was just about to tell you how good Kaler's been in relief, but there he goes. First pitch, home run, and the second time that Brady Grimes has taken the big train deep, and this game just got that much closer. However, disregarding that swing, Tanner Kaler's 3 relief outings, he has worked 5.2 scoreless innings. He has allowed 3 hits, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, and he has a save. 2 of those 3 relief outings came against this team.
A drag bunt that goes all the way out to deep second base. You see something new every day. That's a quick out for Kaler. 2 pitches, 1 home run, 1 out.
Yeah, they tell you, come to the ballpark, you'll see something you've never seen before. I've never seen a bunt go that far in my entire life. But
that home run is the first run that Kaler has allowed as a reliever, a guy that was used almost exclusively as a lefty 1-out guy at Charlotte, probably feeling a bit more comfortable in that relief role. He's allowed runs in both of his starts, now trying to settle down against Nathan Rodriguez and Bryce Curry to finish up this game. Rodriguez takes strike 1. Here comes the 0-1. Swinging a foul, and Kaler's way ahead.
yeah, Kaler has been the 2nd best high leverage guy on this team. Owen Stewart, far and away, maybe the best high leverage guy in the entire league, still has not allowed an earned run despite working a season high 4 innings on Monday. But Kaler has been very good. His first 2 relief appearances coming against the T-Bolts, he worked 4 1/3, allowed 3 hits, struck out 7.
And he punches out Rodriguez here. The Thunderbolts down to their final out in game number 1. Bryce Curry, the man, to try and keep the game alive.
Bryce Curry is 0 for 2 today. Ball hasn't left the infield. Popped out to the catcher and grounded out to short.
Kaler working against the righty Curry. 2 outs in the inning, and the first one is a strike on the outer half. Beautiful pitch at 88 miles an hour from Kaler. Starts off the at-bat against the 8-hole.
And a great frame by Dylan Murphy to pull that one solidly into the strike zone.
Kaler winds and fires. Outside. Kaler settling down nicely after a mammoth home run to start his day. .108 off the bat from Grimes. Delivers a slider inside here.
That ball's hit about as hard and as far as we've seen one hit all season. Traveled 408 feet, which clears that left field fence by about 60.
The 2-1 to Curry. Breaking ball strike. Kaler's 1K away.
And a gift for strike 2. Another good frame job by Dylan Murphy.
Kaler coils and delivers. Breaking ball inside. Curry holds up, and the count is full. Big Train will go another game without a shutout on the season. They've allowed 1 run now 3 times. Can they do it again and pick up their 3rd win in a row, 4th win in a row? Pitch from Kaler. Chopper towards the 3rd base bag. Moving in, Matt Wesley fields it with the glove, and it slips through the webbing. That's going to allow Curry to reach base. He's the tying run. Matthew Kim now strides to the dish.
Credited with an E5. I think that's a difficult play for Wesley to make, even if he comes up with that cleanly. Good thing for the Big Train is 1, Tanner Kaler's a lefty. 2, Bryce Curry is 0 for 2 attempting to steal bases. And 3, Matthew Kim's only hitting 154.
Kim steps up to the plate, sans batting gloves, and takes a pitch at the knees way inside, nearly kneecapping the young second baseman.
Kaler's going to have to be careful. You do not want to hit or walk the 9-hitter to put the tying run in scoring position and the top of the lineup at the bat.
Lefty move over to first base, not in time. Curry back in there.
We can never get blown out or like secure a game without making it somewhat interesting.
Kaler's set at the belt. Twists back towards the second base bag and throws a fastball high and away. Kaler rosins up the bow, licks his fingers, wipes it off, goes to the brim, spits. The elaborate routine sets up a 2-0. Swinging a foul by Kim.
A really good pitch from Kaler. That ball not in the strike zone, but the lefty crossfire had Kim thinking it was going to end up on the inside corner and getting an aggressive 2-0 swing from the 9-hole.
Reminder that since the T-Bolts are serving as the home team in this game, a 3-run inning here will win them the ball game. The 2-1. Outside, it skips away from Murphy. The tying run is now in scoring position.
Kaler has to be in the zone here. You cannot walk the 9-hitter with Josh Erd standing on deck. Although Erd has struggled today, you do not want to face the top of the order if you can avoid it.
Kaler checks on the runner, the 3-1. In there for a strike. Three balls, 2 strikes on the T-Bolts 9-hitter Matthew Kim. Kaler dangles the arm, now comes set. The payoff pitch. Fly ball down the right field line. It is tailing and going to be out of play.
Really good pitch from Kaler, up and away, outside corner. Matthew Kim just able to get a piece of it, send it spiraling into the concourse.
Kaler looking to put the ball game away. The 3-2. Ball 4 outside. Runners at first and second for Josh Erd. The winning run is now on the base paths.
It rarely seems to come easy. As good as the Big Train have been, when they play in close games, it always feels like something is going wrong late on a 2-out rally after the leadoff home run, as the winning run aboard for Josh Erd.
First pitch to Erd is outside. He was hitting 240 even on the year coming into today, and it's 0 for 3 with 2 flyouts and a soft pop-up. Taking 1-0 against Kaler, who has been around the zone these last 2 batters. Caleb Sturdivant waits on deck.
It'd be poetic if Sturdivant came to the plate, the tying run in scoring position, needing his first base hit.
Erd way ahead. It's 3-0. And if Sturdivant comes up, you feel like it'd be fated for him to get his first hit there. Want to avoid that, have to get Erd here. Kaler trying to work back. Certainly Erd has the red light here. It's ball 4. The bases are loaded for Caleb Sturdivant. He's played the GOAT much of this season. Can he make a hero turn in this afternoon ball game?
Well, we will see, but first we will get a chat and maybe a pitching change.
Sal Colangelo heading out to the mound. He takes the ball from Tanner Kaler, and there will be a new arm, it looks like, coming on for the final out of this baseball game.
Probably want to get a righty in to face Sturdivant. We'll see who it is, but whoever it is, they are going to have a pressure spot.
We'll tell you all about the new pitcher and the biggest at-bat of the season so far when we return on the Big Train Baseball Network. Cole Ketchum is the man on whom the weight of the world rests right now. He takes the mound with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. Ketchum versus Sturdivant with all the marbles on the line.
Caleb Sturdivant 0 for 35 this season. His first base hit would likely win the game.
The first pitch from Ketchum. It's a strike, a beauty on the outer half at 90 miles an hour.
Ketchum a little wild in warm-ups, but locating that perfectly, low and away from Sturdivant's bat.
Sturdivant waggles the bat over his back shoulder, the 0-1 coming. Inches low.
I really wish Dylan Murphy had been coming from under that and able to pull it up. He might have had a chance to steal another strike.
But at the same time, all important to get the mid on the ball, the tying run, standing at third. 1-1 from Ketchum. Yanked, past Murphy to the backstop. Murphy going back to get it, flips to Ketchum, the tag! They got him! Big Train win it in the wildest of fashions. Blow the whistle, sound the horn, that's a Big Train winner!
Unbelievable how that ended. And if you watched Cole Ketchum, he started to the plate, then he stopped, and he was still able to get there in front of Bryce Curry. And shout out Dylan Murphy, you pointed it out, you gotta get a mid on it. He doesn't, but a full sprint to the backstop and a beautiful throw. That flip is harder than it looks, but he puts it right on the money. And it's not pretty, but it's a Big Train win.
That is the first win for Bethesda this year by 1 run. They were 0-2 in 1-run games before this, and Cole Ketchum spikes the ball but makes up for it with a sprint home and a beautiful swipe tag to retire an over-ambitious Bryce Curry. What a ball game that was, and we're just getting started, folks. There's game 2 coming right after this.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard for game 2 to beat game 1. That game had everything. It had pitchers duels, you had home runs, you had a high leverage, high pressure situation, and you had a Big Train win. Game 2 set for 7 p.m., a little more than an hour from now, and it is going to be a fun one.
Final lines in this first game: 2 runs on 3 hits, 2 errors committed, 5 left on for the Big Train. For the visiting team acting as the home team, 1 run on 3 hits, 1 error, and 6 left on base. Your winning pitcher is Kide Adatui, an ace-like performance for the FAU Product 6 scoreless. Gabe Wheeler takes the tough luck loss after a very solid outing, and Cole Ketchum gets the strangest save you'll ever see as the Big Train win 2-1 in game number 1. We'll be right back here on the Big Train Baseball Network for Game 2, set to start at 7 p.m. It's Women in Sports Night here at Shirley Povich Field. Should be another incredible baseball game for you. Eliab and myself will be on the call. But for now, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you later tonight.